Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep the show rolling with another funny man. You may have seen him at the Duplex. You've seen his work on HBO and Comedy Central. Please welcome Erik Spahn!
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Paul. No, really, the last guy who brought me up said, "Get ready to laugh, because this next comic's been known to make people laugh." What is that? That should be a given. I feel that making people laugh is a prerequisite to being a comic. Coming to the stage, this next comic's been doing this 25 years. Never made anyone laugh. I feel like he's due. I feel like tonight could be the night. Anyway, something about me is I lived here in New York for many years. In 1995, I moved down to Florida, where it was 1955. I swear to God, it's like they didn't know the civil rights movement had happened. Nope. They didn't know about women's lib. I was talking to a guy down there, he said, "What do you mean I can't beat my wife? Since when? She's mine, ain't she?" Boy, I wanted to give that guy a piece of my mind. But it's not every day I meet a U.S. congressman. So now I'm back in New York. New York, New York. It's the town so nice they named it twice. Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
Last week.
Does anyone believe that? I'm not sure that it was nice enough to be named once. I love the people. The people make New York, but the city, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing though, naming the city the same as the state, that was a bad idea. That was a terrible idea. See, I travel, and in the hotels and airports and such, you meet people, and they tell you where they're from. First time someone told me they were from New York, I said, "Oh yeah, me too, I live in this city." He said, "No, I'm from upstate. I'm up from upstate New York." Well, excuse me. The second time I met someone, they told me they were from New York. I said, "Oh, that's nice. Where are you from? Upstate? Somewhere upstate?" He said, "No, I'm from the city. I'm from New York." He's looking at me like I never even heard of New York City. So now, whenever anyone tells me they're from New York, I just say, "Fuck you!" Seriously, I don't need that kind of aggravation. When I lived down in Florida, I used to exercise. I had free weights in the garage, you know, and I had a lifter's body. I had a physique, I guess. You wouldn't know to look at me now. You can't do that in New York. You can't weights in your apartment. What I did is I stopped exercising, and I took up running. You know, jogging. I know what you're thinking. "Oh, Erik, running is exercise." No, it's not. Sure, running is good for your heart. It's good for your lungs. It's supposed to be good for your brain. All the organs that no one ever sees. What's the point of that? I tell you, now I have no upper body strength. I was trying to open the bottle of Tylenol the other day, and I said to my wife, I said, "Honey, I'm trying to open, I can't get the bottle of Tylenol open." And she said, "It's a child-proof cap." Oh, by the way, that's how married people talk to each other. You yell at each other across the apartment because you want to be as far away from each other as physically possible. Anyway, she said, "It's a child-proof cap. You need to push and then turn." And I said, "I don't think you understand the problem. I haven't the strength to push or to turn. Also, I think I'll need some help getting these caplets up to my mouth. Two of them. I have no upper body strength as well. Opening bottles and jars used to be my best thing. That's basically what I brought to the relationship. Opening bottles and jars. Now I'm useless. I feel that I'm useless. Anyway. Yes, now I feel... You know, the moods. You know, I went to my doctor last year. I said, I think I have seasonal affective disorder. I think I have that. And he said, are you depressed in the winter? I said, yes. Also the summer and the fall. 3 out of 4 seasons affect me that way. I'm glad it's spring. That's my one little respite from my perpetual depression. You caught me at a good time. You know, I during the pandemic, I was at home writing a lot of I wrote a joke. Oh, it was a good one. I thought it was a good one. And you know, it was all isolated. I texted it to my wife because she was out, and when she came home, you know, I had dinner ready. I'm a wonderful husband. I had dinner ready and all that, and then I said, hey, how was your day? You know, she's telling me all about her day and all. And I said, what did you think about my joke? You know, and she said, oh, your joke, honey. Oh, it was very good. It was very good, honey. The only part I didn't understand was the end. See, if you're not in this business, the end is what we call the punchline. So that's a true story. And if there was one good thing that came out of the pandemic, it was more openness and more discussion and dialogue about mental health issues. And I've noticed that certain ones are popular at certain times. Like right now, imposter syndrome. Everyone's talking about imposter syndrome. And it's all the best people too. Tom Hanks, you know, and Viola Davis, another one of our very best actors. Just by luck, one of the few syndromes I don't have. I don't have imposter syndrome, but I pretend to have it. I guess you could say I have imposter syndrome. It's the syndrome so nice they named it twice. Thank you, I'm Erik Spahn. You've been wonderful. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you, Paul.
Erik Spahn, everyone! Erik Spahn! I am...